Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Mean Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Mean Street News. Mean Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens effect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Main Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Main Street News. Main Street News is here to provide accurate news to help citizens affect change in their local government and beyond. Being nice is overrated. It is time to be real. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean. The time to step up and step in is now. So please come join me, Katie, over on Main Street News to discuss Ohio politics and beyond. I hope to see you there. Hello, and welcome to Main Street News. Hello and welcome to Main Street News. I'm excited to be back with you guys, and I hope I kept your curiosity. So today we are going to continue our investigation into the Lorain County 911 controversy, and we are going to start today with a video first that is going to be relevant to our conversation. And then we're just going to do a little overview, and then we're going to get into some new stuff. I'm really excited about it. So give me 1 second.
Is a work in progress that we think we know because of leads issues and NCIC that we're going to have to look at some issues, but I want to thank Jerry for all his help too.
Did you mention that this has to go to leads for their blessing before we can actually go forward?
Well, actually, we're able to go forward under our current arrangement. That's a future step.
That's correct.
We have a whole, not to misrepresent to the public that this is going to happen tomorrow. We still have months of integration and
Correct.
incorporation to do so that we can combine all the elements of what both of these things are. This paves the way to co-locating the work and start moving in that process. But we have a lot of action steps yet to accomplish.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Right. Okay.
And we're going to use our ORI originally, which is our agency identifier, and then the county is going to apply to be one too.
Now, one thing, Sheriff, 3 deputies doesn't sound like a lot, but what's this going to bring to your department?
That's going to help us out immensely because you figure if you got 3 guys, you can put 1 on each shift, which is going to boost us up to at least 3 deputies on a shift. And
Right.
as you know, the night we had that homicide, we had 2 deputies and a sergeant, and they were tied up there all night. So, when you got other calls coming in, how do you pull people away from homicides to go on domestic?
I'm sorry, I had a screen sharing issue. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to replay this so you guys can actually see it.
Help us out a lot.
Yeah. And you do actually do.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Do we want the sheriff
Sure.
to come on up? Who has the actual MOU?
Should be in the package. Actually, there should have been a couple copies of the agreement for you guys all to sign.
Morning, Sheriff. As you know, this has been a long process. Actually, we've been talking about this for several years. At least the last 4 or 5, I think we've gotten a little bit serious about it. As you know, Brian Frederick from the Community Foundation has been working, trying to get Lorain and Elyria and myself together to possibly consolidate some services for better efficiency and for cost savings. So we've been meeting with him also. Matter of fact, we got a meeting in September, first part of September with him again. But this one's been going on, and I think we got a little more serious because Commissioner Kalo, I know you attended one of the first meetings when they were still up on North Ridge Road, and then we had another meeting where Commissioner Kokoski was filling in there as far as the 911 and merger with us. And I give Commissioner Kokoski credit because she actually did come up with the idea of, well, we're looking at all these departments combining, but why don't the sheriff and 911 look at combining, since we're both county agencies and we both have the same software. So I think then we started looking at that a little bit more seriously. And then obviously with the economic conditions, with general fund money, I think it was something that we really had to look at real seriously. So as you know, you have the MOU, you looked at it. Obviously I have a copy in my package this morning with my budget. So my budget for the last 3 years has been about 5.2 million. This will make it probably around 4.8. Now, the other caveat that I did have when we made this agreement was that we would bring 3 deputies back, which is the 3 I have laid off right now. Otherwise, there would actually be more savings, but I think that's really going to help us as far as the law enforcement division to get 3 more guys back. I know it will help us immensely. And myself and County Administrator Cortez and Chief Kavanaugh, we've had some pretty good meetings. I'm not going to always say they were pleasant, but they're always cordial at least. And I understand the concerns, and I think you understand some of the concerns that I have because, you know, from the law enforcement end of it as a function for us, that is the lifeline to my deputies. The communication center has to be a lifeline to them. And it's a constant getting the proper information, knowing what to find out for the officer before he arrives on the scene. And it's a learning process. And actually, for the people at the sheriff's office, it's going to be a big learning process for them to learn the 911 procedures, which I know are not easy. You know, you have pre-arrival instructions, and you're also dispatching fire departments and ambulances. So there's a learning curve, I think, on both sides. Mm-hmm. I think it is the wave of the future that, you know, there's 15 police departments in this county. We're all going to have to start working together, and I think all the chiefs know that. I am the president of the Chiefs Association, and we have talked about this. You know, why does everybody need a dispatch center? It's even got to the point where why does everybody need a police department? So those discussions, I think, are well beyond my years. And, you know, you got different mayors and you got different egos that you got to confront. But I think the police departments as a whole think that there's some good ideas in that process, and they're going to probably continue to work on those. But I think this is going to be a good merger. Obviously, it's going to free some money up from the general fund, which, as we all know, next year is going to be as tough as the last 3 have been. But I think if we keep moving forward with this type of things and these kind of ideas, I think that it's going to make us operate more efficient, and it's going to operate at a cost savings. So, I don't know if the commissioners want to expound on anything more.
I'm very happy that we were able to accomplish this. I think it's been a long time coming. I want to just commend Kavanaugh and Sheriff and Cortez and all the negotiations that went back and forth between everyone, the people, the patients that the dispatchers, the sheriff's dispatchers, and the 911 employees. You know, I'm sure it's been very concerning to all those people, you know, wondering if they had a job or not. So we're hoping that we won't lose anybody through this process. We're hoping that by attrition there will be no actual job losses, but you know, we don't know that for sure. But I think this is a great opportunity for the sheriff and the commissioners to work together, and I think we will work well together. So I think that's all I have for. Yeah, go ahead. I'll let somebody else.
Commissioner Williams? Well, first I want to actually thank the sheriff for working on this. When I first came in, I talked to you about it. That was one of my questions. And Ms. Kukowski actually jumped on board on this, and through hard work and making sure that through the negotiations on the commissioner sides that the sheriff's department was well represented in those meetings, and she knew how important it was to have deputies on the roads and taking a look out for those areas where going from Rochester to Sheffield Township, how long it could take. And I just want to thank you and Ms. Kukowski. Great job on this. It's definitely one of the best things that we've done in the county this year. And thank you for working on this and taking the time to do it.
And it's because I can't do anything as a commissioner. We do everything as a board. So
That's true, but
you
led the charge on this year. So
You got this one done, Commissioner.
Okay.
Again, congratulations.
I think you just needed a woman in the room. That's all there was to it. There's too many.
Too much testosterone.
Too much
before we were
testosterone
meeting.
in the room. So.
That might have been it.
I think it's going to be very good for all of us. It leads sort of the way for everyone else to start regionalizing, combining services, and hopefully we'll be able to work with the other communities and carry this farther, because it's all about trying to meet the budget needs now and still perform the services that are required of us. So, yeah, thank you, Sheriff.
Mm-hmm.
We want to go down there and sign the MOU
Yeah.
together?
Commissioners, can I add one thing?
Sure.
I also want to thank the United Steelworkers of America for working with us at the bargaining table to be able to incorporate all of this. It could have been much more difficult, and we received a great deal of cooperation from the employees themselves over at the 911 agency to be able to revamp our labor contract for this expansion and the way we need to go about this. I just want to make sure that they get the recognition that they partnered with us also. And I have that contract, and we have to deal with it. And I want to talk to you about it in executive session, but there was a big embracement there rather than beating our heads together for no good reason.
Yeah, very nice job for 911 personnel.
One other person I wanted to recognize, I want to thank Prosecutor Will for letting us borrow Jerry, because he was the go-between and mediator between us, and he's probably changed that MOU about 15 times, but
Quick, sign it. Sign it.
We know it's not perfect, but I think it's something that is a work in progress that we think we know because of leads issues and NCIC that we're going to have to look at some issues, but I want to thank Jerry for all his help too.
Did you mention that this has to go to leads for their blessing before we can actually go forward?
Well, actually, we're able to go forward under our current arrangement. That's a future step.
That's correct.
We have a whole, not to misrepresent to the public that this is going to happen tomorrow. We still have months of integration and
Correct.
incorporation to do so that we can combine all the elements of what both of these things are. This paves the way to co-locating the work and start moving in that process. But we have a lot of action steps yet to accomplish.
That's correct.
Right.
And we're going to use our ORI originally, which is our agency identifier, and then the county is going to apply to be one too.
Now, one thing, Sheriff, 3 deputies doesn't sound like a lot, but what's this going to bring to your department?
That's going to help us out immensely, because you figure if you got 3 guys, you can put 1 on each shift, which is going to, boost us up to at least 3 deputies on a shift. And
Right.
as you know, the night we had that homicide, we had 2 deputies and a sergeant, and they were tied up there all night. So, when you got other calls coming in, how do you pull people away from homicides to go on domestics, which, you have to. But it is going to help us out a lot.
Yeah. And you do actually do more than just the townships.
Yes, we do. As you know, we're in the cities constantly doing,
Yeah.
the sexual offenders and the warrants and other jobs that we have to do. So the cities get our money's worth out of the sheriff's office, I can tell you that.
Okay. Thank you, Sheriff. Appreciate everything.
Ms. Kowski?
Thank you.
Aye.
Mr. Kayla?
Aye.
Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Okay, Sheriff, you want to come back up and
Join
we're
us
going
up
to.
front, we'll sign this.
It's not just
That's some growth. Could have framed them.
Yeah, go ahead.
Take a picture, you're signing it. Did you get it, Tony?
No.
No?
Do we have a cell phone?
Here, we got more work to do.
That's gonna be tricky because you're probably gonna get the ball spot.
What's the glare?
I'm not gonna say anything about that.
Mr. Cortez, County Administrator?
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
So that was 2011. In 2011, the Lorain County Sheriff Phil Stammitti, relinquished his 911 dispatch services to the county to integrate to create the 911 center that we have now. Like he said, there was no reason to be duplicating services, taking resources away from the sheriff's department. He didn't really want to deal with the mayors and that argument on what radios each mayor wanted. Oh, that light's giving me a funny look. Hold on. Ooh. My kids are still awake, so we are outside today. But like I said, he relinquish his rights to the 911 dispatch services. But then we see now, and I don't think Tom Williams and that the young guy to the left was our former county administrator and former commissioner, but more recently county commissioner, and I don't even think he foresaw that 12 years later he would be in a radio controversy with Sheriff Phil Stammitti. Stammitti knew what he was agreeing to. He hasn't brought up dispatch services and 911 in a long time. Now, we haven't talked about Lorain County Sheriff Phil Stammitti yet, or any of the other gentlemen from the sheriff's office or the fire departments. But in order to understand the past, sometimes we have to jump a little forward to look into the future. And that's what I want to do tonight. We're going to just jump forward from where we left off. In quick synopsis, we left off, I went through the years 2021 and we started dipping our toes into 2022. We discussed how Commissioner Michelle Hung hired her paramour at $75,000 a year after he endorsed her, or got her an endorsement, more than likely since he was the president of the AFL-CIO. He then was hired by Hung, and when he was hired, January 4th is when he stepped down as president of the AFL-CIO. So she hires her paramour, doesn't discuss it with anybody at the time. And I actually want to pull this up while we're discussing this, because it is relevant. Hold on. I don't want to discuss these people and you guys can't see who I am discussing. So let's see what that looks like for you. Okay, perfect. All right. Let's do this so you guys can see the whole thing. Take me out. All right. You have Michelle Hung, she's county commissioner, Lorain County, is having an intimate relationship. Michelle Hung is having an intimate relationship with Harry Williamson. He is the president of the AFL-CIO, this guy right here, in 2019. They meet in September of 2020 and end up having an affair, both married. And like I said, it's not the affair that I care about. Adults do what adults do. What I do care about, however, is she did not tell Commissioner Lundy, who this is a Democrat, or her partner as a Republican, Commissioner Moore, about the affair. They have no idea what's going on, nor did she tell Administrator Tom Williams. they continue this affair, and in June of 2021, after they take office, she brings up a no-bid contract for this company, Cleveland Communications, Inc., to purchase radios using, at that point, they didn't know, but later she wanted to use ARPA dollars. And she said on December 15th, 2021, that she's the one that approached the prosecutor about using ARPA dollars to purchase radios, such and such, whatever. So they say this. Commissioner Moore, who's right here, this guy, use my mouse right here, he walks out of this June meeting and is like, this is probably a violation of sunshine, and what are you talking about, a no-bid contract? That's when everything started to go a little funny, okay? Now, before this June date, as I told you previously, the General Assembly met with Alan Close, who is CCI's CEO, and I don't think I have him on here yet. I don't think he's on this one. He's on the connected one. He'll be off to the side. But he went in front of the General Assembly and said that he had Lorain County's contract before, like Lorain County was signing on with CCI before we even received a proposal, which was on June 1st, 3-4 weeks later. So I don't know any company that gets a proposal, doesn't send the proposal and thinks they already have a contract. That's questionable. So that's what we went over. Then we went over how she and her paramour, Harry Williamson, got into a big fight, right? She ends up telling the administrator, Tom Williams, right here, she ends up telling him that she's having an affair. And that Harry, this guy, was being real mean to her, sending her some graphic text message. So this guy, she wanted his help, Tom Williams, former county administrator, to mend this relationship, which who knows what happens. They're adults. I really don't care. After, and this really, before I go forward, this relationship was on the not so good, shaky grounds because of, well, this is my hypothesis. This is my theory. This is not fact. This is my theory, is that she didn't pull through getting Cleveland Communications on the tower or with the contract. So he was getting upset because later he would say in an email, we're going to get back on track a couple weeks later, which, what does that mean? You know what I mean? Well, a couple weeks later when he says, all right, time to get back on track with whatever they're pushing toward, and Alan Close was in that email, the CEO of CCI, wherever they were moving forward, and then mentioned in that email as well how important Burns Road Tower was. He, Administrator Tom Williams, goes to the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office, not JD himself, but the office, and he discusses the relationship between Hung and Terry Williamson, that he had no knowledge of it, and also this whole CCI contract, sharing proprietary intellectual and proprietary information with another vendor in order to secure a contract for the other one. Just the inappropriateness. So all heck breaks loose. These two find out later July. She loses her shit because Harry Williamson, gets terminated for his involvement after an investigation with his involvement with CCI and Michelle and the affair and all of that, right? She wants revenge, and she says it in the Chronicle. We read that. And literally the day, 2 weeks later, the day after, she is quoted in the Chronicle as saying whoever is playing these political games is going to, pay for it, retaliatory behavior. He gets terminated. Well, when he gets terminated, she refuses to pay a severance package. So he ends up suing the county because she withheld his severance package for no just reason. And then after that happens, we get to where I left you with more on December 8th, basically putting everything on the line. And we went over that pretty in depth, like what his allegations were. And I'm not going to recoup it, but it's bid rigging, paying for we're guessing, paying for her and her paramour's little love nest, for Director Williamson's office, since he needed it soundproofed and zero light penetration. The county tax dollars paid $30,000 for that. Now we're paying for litigation at this point where we're at in the story for him. So Moore says all of this. Lundy, this guy, responds with how pretty the Christmas decoration lights are. And the next meeting, she gets upset that he and Lundy passed a contract to allow Mark's radio equipment on the Burns Road Tower. In October 21st of 2021, Michelle and Lundy voted yes to allow CCI to lease a place on the tower for $1,500. Well, she slips up on this December 15th meeting. Not only does she claim that she's the one that pursued the Lorain County prosecutor to see if we could use ARPA dollars, which we went over the last time, that ARPA dollars is not an appropriate use for this Cleveland Communications contract, because it's a purchase of radios, not a system that is going to benefit the county long term. ARPA is very specific, whatever. She also says, and I think it was a slip of a tongue, that she wanted to charge the Marks. She said, I spoke to Miller, and he said he didn't want to pay $5,000 a month for a tower lease, for a spot on the tower. Well, that leads me to my question is, at this point, I don't know when she had that conversation with him. I'm thinking it was probably September before the CCI lease. Why would she lease a tower to lease a spot on the Burns Road Tower to CCI for $1,500 a month, but then charge another vendor for the same equipment, same spot, $5,000 a month, unless she had a specific issue with that vendor or preferred the other vendor? But she still can't say why besides radios. She also says at that time that she wanted to have them rescind the vote that they took on December 1st to allow Mark's equipment on that tower, which is ridiculous. 2 people voted. She decided not to join and whatever. Now, this is 2 weeks. It's December 15th, 2 weeks after this was done. It took her 2 weeks to realize what happened. We then go to then what I left you off last time was the March 15th meeting where CCI is mentioned in Mission Critical Partners' proposal to secure a radio contract or pick a radio vendor. Cleveland Communications, it basically said on behalf of Cleveland, like in order to put Cleveland Communications or secure the contract for Cleveland Communications. Cleveland Communications was listed 26 times in Mission Critical Partners proposal documents that were discussed during that meeting. And Moore said at that time, this is 100% rigging a bid. You know what I mean? This is bid rigging. And he made it clear to get that on record. Not bid rigging. This is clearly we're hiring a contractor, supposedly a non-biased contractor. Sorry, I misspoke. A non-biased contractor. We are hiring them to secure a contract for this other vendor, even though Mission Critical Partners is supposed to be looking at all systems and really seeing what's best for the county. Now, I mentioned in 2018, when Mission Critical Partners came in, they recommended something that would be compatible with Marks and something more like the Marks system. And then, years later, we're paying him more money to tell us CCI, which is not a system. We would be paying CCI to user fees to use, quote, their system, even though it's their software to get the L3 here says to work with their system, but it would be basically building a company's infrastructure, and no offense, endless user fees. And that's just ineffective. We also talked about the FCC licensure kind of towards the end, but we're going to get more into that later. What I want to talk about today, because, like I said, I just want to give you a quick synopsis of what we discussed the last 2 episodes if you're just now tuning in. We're going to jump forward from 2022. We're going to pause on March 15th, 2022, and we're going to jump back there tomorrow and finish our timeline. But tonight, because of how important this is in the future, I want to, and this is why we watched Phil Stammitti in the beginning, I want to go over the Lorain County Sheriff's investigation. And you will see why. It is brought up so much in order to basically nullify anybody's argument that this bid or this process was done inappropriately in any way, which I still don't quite understand why. It left out key facts, basically to paint the narrative that the other side, Michelle Hunk's side, Harry Williamson's side, wanted to be shown. The people involved is very political, but in order to understand the fallacies in this report, you actually have to read it. Now, they can say it's a 200-page report. It's 30 pages, and we're going to quickly go over my notes tonight and some anomalies that I saw and some new facts that I'm going to present. Now, I wanted to show you this real quick, and let's take a longer look. You're going to see in the next couple days all of these dots. We're going to play connect the dots, and we're going to start connecting all of these people. And basically, this map goes out as well into CCI and all of that nonsense. But right now, we have the main characters, and I'm just going to quickly go over those before we start into the sheriff's report, okay? So we have Weather, I believe that's Weatherby. Here's all the fire department guys, and Adam Shaw, who's with the Lorain County Sheriff's office. And then we have Elyria. Now, he's separate because this is the 5 city people. Elyria has always been separate, always going with them. Here's Stammitti, and then we have Michelle Hung, who is the commissioner of Lorain County currently, up until the end of this year. Matt Lundy, who is a Democrat, who she aligned, and this is what happened June 14th too. Alan Close, CEO of CCI, told Michelle when Moore walked out of that meeting, now you have to align with the Democrat in order to push this contract through. And what do you think she ultimately did? Did just that. And you can see that through her behavior over the next 18 months. We have Commissioner David Moore. He just won his primary. And he was running against Matthew Spears, who is Michelle Hung's administrative assistant, used to work at 911. After he was terminated there, shortly after he started working for Michelle Hung. He is a lifelong voting Democrat who pulled a Republican ticket in May of 2023 in order to literally run against this guy. This is Commissioner Jeff Riddell. He comes into office January of 2023, and you will start hearing about him. He ran his campaign literally against the radios, like said it from the beginning of his campaign the year prior, like I am against whatever is going on here. John Gall is an administrative assistant. You will see how he fits in later with how Michelle's little team ends up harassing him. We have a former administrator and former commissioner Tom Williams, who was terminated due to retaliatory behavior, Michelle Hung's retaliatory behavior. We have JD Tomlinson, and you were going to see tonight where he fits in here. And then we have Lorain County Young Republicans. Well, so far, there's more people to be added here, but this is County Recorder Mike Duran. This is Greg Fanning. I call him Ted Bundy because something's off with that kid. Keith Migra, he's an actor or with some, I don't really know what he does. It's a little weird. Works for bank. I don't know. They told me they worked for a bank when I saw him. Anthony Savage, he decided to last minute run against Kelly Dieter for Ohio House District 54. Lost horribly, but consistently harassed and, played political games throughout the entire pre-election season. So that was fun. And you'll see how they fit in more and what nonsense they cause. So where I want to start, though, since it's referenced so many times, is Sheriff Stammitti's report, the Lorain County Sheriff's investigation. So let's get there. See if my light comes back on. I might not. Whatever. Okay, share my screen. This reported trip. We're also going to look at the CCI. Okay, present. I'll do this. You don't want me to share my screen. Share screen. Entire screen with the audio. This one. Share. I got to mute myself for a second. Okay. I got to mute myself for Shaw. He's with the Lorain County Sheriff's Office. He's I think a deputy association or something. You're going to hear him consistently, and I think he's referred to in this report, but I wanted to refer to the calling for an investigation. And this is in the first time was January 9th, 2023, when the contract was rescinded for CCI.
Radios and why this system is needed. I realize that you, Mr. Moore, and Mr. Rydell, what's that?
Just your name so I can find you if you filled out.
Adam Shaw, President of Lorain County Deputy Association. I was planning to come up here and talk about the safety aspect of the radios and why this system is needed. I realize that you, Mr. Moore, and Mr. Rydell don't care. You don't care about my safety or my safety of the ones behind me who are out working. It's plain and simple. Mr. Rydell's comment to the Morning Journal of, but that's the way they are going to the public. It's the way they are going to play the public violin. First off, Commissioner Rydell, we don't play violins in public safety. We play bagpipes, okay? You should listen to them one day, because the way our radios are working now, it's only a matter of time until they get played at a funeral. Your comment alone proves it's a sham process to get the system Mr. Moore wants, which is marks. This is all this is. You finally reached out to me yesterday to talk, Sunday night before the meeting. After we all have asked to meet with you long prior to this, you say that this was because the bidding process was illegal. How was it illegal? You didn't answer. Just that only one bid was received. If the process is illegal, why would the Lorain County Prosecutor's Office give the green light on something they know to be illegal? I have read countless articles that state this board will not move forward with things unless the blessing of the Prosecutor's Office is received. Mr. Petticord, was this contract process illegal? I'm sure you're not allowed to answer that, but someone must ask a hard question that everybody's thinking of, so why not me? Mr. Rydell, you then stated something very interesting. You said, well, even if the 10 things were legal, it's still unethical. What's unethical, Mr. Rydell? I asked you about some campaign contributions from Jeff Armbruster you and Commissioner Moore received. You acknowledged receiving them, and when I asked if you were aware of any potential relationships between Mr. Armbruster and Motorola Mark's lobbyist, you stated you didn't know. Instead, Instead, you decided to accuse myself and my deputies of releasing information about your past. Mr. Rydell, I don't care about your past. It's none of my business or my deputy's business. I don't care what you do in your free time. What I care about is the safety of my coworkers and my friends. Do you? So let me tell you what I do know, commissioners. These radios have been researched and tested multiple times by multiple agencies, and they all come back the same way. Harris is what works for this county. Commissioner Hung knows this. You two do not. You would rather halt the process, cost the county hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money and lawsuits, and pat yourselves in the back for stopping something everything once. I watched Facebook comments all weekend. I saw maybe 4, maybe 5 comments out of hundreds and hundreds against these radios, most from Tom Williams, who, as I recently learned, was releasing information he should not have even known, which is why these comments have been since deleted off all the messaging pages. Where is the unethical behavior now? I call for an immediate investigation into the above claims by either the Lorain County Sheriff's Office or an outside agency as soon as possible. The campaign contributions to Mr. Moore and Mr. Rydell along with Tom Williams. Don't tell me to hurry up.
No, you get your 30 seconds is up, okay?
I'm going to keep going. Thank you. I do know Tom claimed the process was rushed.
And then I will allow another minute. Thank you.
The only rushed thing about this process is the fact that you decided to rescind the contract and tell everybody 3 days prior. Neither of you reached out, had any discussions with anyone this affects. Neither of you met with the sheriff prior to this or advised the sheriff anything illegal was going on. The proper way to do this would be to communicate with the first responders, the guys you're about to screw, and then hear all sides. Did you even meet with the county prosecutor to determine if it was in fact illegal? I don't think so. I talked to JD yesterday. Tom claimed we received 100 plus radios last year, and if the sheriff knew they were faulty, why did he get them? What Tom failed to include with those radios were to the corrections officers, not deputies. When asked about that, Tom said he knew that, however, it was still the sheriff under the sheriff. Talk about political spinning. Trying to spread false or half the information is wrong. Facts are what important, and the fact here today is Mr. Moore wants Mark's radios. That's a fact. Have your vote, rescind the legal binding contract, spend millions and millions in defending the legal process, waste taxpayers' money, refuse to come do a ride-along, but do all that looking at the men and women before you and the pictures of my deputies and their families right here, knowing the next time you may see them, you can.
I don't like the fear-mongering stuff. And, just to be fair, just because I don't like to, not be somewhat fair to Adam Shaw, is he's being gaslit. He's being fed a narrative. And they all get up there and say their part. But in actuality, I don't believe they understood the totality of what was going on based on the information that they received. And each of us has our own perspective on everything. And you can only, make a decision or make a judgment on something with the information that you know. And if you're only given, half truths, and, you guys have been struggling for so long to obtain radios and funding for those radios, which I don't think is fair, you're going to be upset. Absolutely. But you're also misinformed. And you're also being used for a political purpose. The fear mongering, if we don't get these radios, everybody's gonna, the world's gonna explode. That's just fear mongering. And you're gonna hear that. The sheriff hasn't been involved in radio decisions since 2011, as we saw earlier when he rescinded his authority there. He doesn't reinstate his authority until it benefits him. Now, there's a news article on my phone. Oh, my phone died. I'll post it up here, but there you'll see it on the website too. There's a news article that Sheriff Stammitti quoted, and I have the quote, that Dave Moore was the originator was the original person to request an investigation into the radios. He requested an investigation of the radios in December 8th of 2021. Nothing to see here then. He again requested in March 15th of 2022. Nothing to see there. He continued to protest against abusive executive session, bid rigging, bid splitting, putting things on requisition that should have been on the agenda for discussion, violation of Open Meetings Acts, violation of contract law, and I think somebody said that before in the comments, but you know, again and again, he requested an investigation, and he was fell on deaf ears when they decided to, and all these people at this point knew that contract was going to be rescinded in December. Like I said, Jeff Riddell ran on that contract being rescinded if they were to pass it, and they called a special meeting. A meeting that was never previously scheduled until earlier that month to shove this contract through that they had been fighting 2 years to obtain. And it's just shady. And then just to be like, you're not for safety forces. It's unfair. So Adam gets up there on January 9th, and I want an investigation of the radios. Okay, and he says it. Michelle wants an investigation into the radios. Okay. So then we get, I need to mute myself. Hold on. February 27th of 2022, Sheriff Phil Stammitti. And then we are going to read the sheriff's actual report, and you're going to see there where I find fallacies.
Numerous flyers saying the same thing to the county citizens. I am invoking my rights as a sheriff under the Ohio Revised Code, Section 307.63, Section B1, system in accordance with the law. I have never signed off on operating an established countywide public safety communication system, nor has any of my predecessors. The only thing I ever signed off on was to move the Lorain County Sheriff's Office dispatchers over to 911, and the MOU is attached there, but never signed off on giving up my rights under Ohio Revised Code 307.63 for a countywide public safety communications network.
I'm sorry. That's when he
Thank you, Sheriff.
denies. Sorry about that. That's when he denies rescinding the contract. Denies rescinding his dispatch services. Because I'm in that video. I'm like, wait a second, why am I in this video? February 27th, 2024, this year. He comes up, and this is after his investigation and everything, and he says, I never gave away my radio, my rights to the dispatch services, even though I haven't spoken about radios in 13 years. Let me see if I can pull this up. I'm going to stop sharing real quick, because I want you guys to see when he requests. Oh, I don't have my things with here. Hold on. More. Stammitti, let's see. 19. Adam Shaw. I think this is it. Hold on.
Commissioners.
Okay, I found it. Haha, I found it. Okay, so this is what's good for about being organized. Let's share this entire screen. All right, here's 1/9/2023, Sheriff Phil.
Morning. As you know, it's a shame that we're even here today, because this thing has been vetted out. We all know it was voted on already. Mission Critical is not political at all. They're an independent consultant. They're the ones that studied this thing for over 4 years.
Mission Critical Partners contract or proposal for work, as Commissioner David Moore stated, March 15th of 2022, listed Cleveland Communications Inc. 26 times. 26 times. So if they are an independent organization, you would not list their name 26 times. They were secured, mission critical partners, to secure the $6.4 million contract for Cleveland Communications. And they did everything in order for that contract to go through. I'm going to continue.
We looked at it. There's been RFPs, reference for proposals. The reason those are put out. And there's a reason that specs are put in there. Well, the specs were put in there that we wanted a phase 2 system. That's what they recommended.
Okay, he said one of the most important things there. They recommended a phase 2 system. Motorola was, and this is one of the biggest arguments that they have that makes no sense to me, because Motorola was bidding on behalf of Ohio Marks. Okay? Then you have Vasu Communications, I believe it was Vasu. Was it Vasu or JBL? It was Vasu. The third contractor, which I'm pretty sure it was Vasu, or Johnson, E.F. Johnson. I want to say that. Anyways, the other contractor only bid radios because of the phase 2. Motorola, on behalf of Marks, Ohio, could not bid that RFP with that phrase phase 2, because even though Motorola offers a phase 2 system, Marks is on a phase 1 and is compatible with phase 2. Now, Katie, I don't know anything about radios. What is the difference between Marks, okay, phase 1, and this phase 2? Easy. Marks phase 1 does not need a phase 2 system and is compatible with phase 2 systems because of talk channels. Phase 1 is one talk channel on the same bandwidth. Phase 2 is splitting it, 2 talk channels on the same bandwidth. Okay, that's literally the only difference. It's also, phase 2 is more expensive. It takes more energy. It's unnecessary. But why did they put that in the bid? Because they knew, mission critical partners knew, Michelle knew, they all knew that if they put that phase 2 speech in there, and they were spoken to, and we'll get into tomorrow, by these other vendors, you know, Marks and, I think it was E.F. Johnson for some reason, I don't know, or Vasu. Anyways, they were spoken to saying, hey, we can't bid on this infrastructure thing if it's a phase 2 system. We can't, because we're bidding on behalf of Marks, and the other one just bid radios because they don't have that capability. I don't really know their reason, but anyways, Cleveland Communications is the only one that could bid because they could have a phase 2, that's even questionable since they don't own any bandwidth and aren't approved as a sublet of the FCC. So that's questionable itself. So that's another reason that this bid was rigged, is that phrase alone, phase 2, because they put it in because they knew the vendors would not be able to bid on that RFP with that language. And it means nothing.
Marks doesn't meet the criteria. Sorry, there's a lot of RFPs that are put out, don't meet criteria. Then you can't bid on it, unfortunately, but that's just the way it is. But we know that the L3 Harris system is a phase 2, and it'll work. I've stated before, this has been over 4 years that we've been looking at Marks and L3 Harris. Like I say, it was bid out, it was vetted, it was passed. I've seen L3 and a couple of years ago working. The clarity on that system is unbelievable. I know sheriffs that have Marks system. They complain about that. No radio system's 100%. I get that part of it. But this system is amazing. It's a Wi-Fi. You can actually do things on your cell phone with it. I've never seen a system like that. And we want this system because it's for the safety and security of our officers and the citizens, nothing else. I don't know any of these vendors. I don't know anybody from Marks, and I don't know anybody from CCI. But I guess I'm just disappointed in the newly elected Commissioner Rydell about your comments. You've already made your mind up. You already told him you're voting against it. Instead of vetting things out and listening to things like today. I think you mentioned about your oath. I think you forgot your oath of office is also to serve and protect the citizens of Lorain County. I fear that you, Mr. Rydell, will not be your own man and stand on your own feet. Commissioner Moore and Rydell have also made it more difficult for me as the sheriff to recruit and retrain personnel now because of your comments by blindly telling people now that you're going to cut my budget, that my deputies came to me and they're in fear of layoffs. And they came from other departments, and I got a bunch of new guys. Now I got to sit there and try to answer their questions for that because of your rhetoric that you're putting out there.
The rhetoric that you put out at 4:30.
Hey, am I talking to you?
No. I hope
didn't
not.
ask you for an answer.
I'm just
I
saying.
didn't ask you. You can answer later.
This is our meeting. Yep. And I'm going to allow the sheriff to talk for 10 minutes if he wants to. Okay? So thank you.
This ARPA money is the chance that we can do it. This American Rescue money that's there can be spent on a communication system. That's already been vetted out through the prosecutor's office. It can be done. So we're not sitting here trying to say we don't have that funding. We got to come up with general fund money. You got a 41 million.
Okay, this is important because he brings up the ARPA dollars. Now, I told you guys ARPA is very specific. Water, sewer, broadband communications. Now, you look at, when you're talking about federal dollars, you have to do federal definitions, right? What is broadband infrastructure? It's cables, fiber optics, wiring, or other permanent integral to structure, infrastructure, including wireless infrastructure that A, is capable of providing access to internet connections in individual locations, and B, an advanced telecom capability as defined in SEC 1302D, which means defined without regard to any transmission, media, or tech. So it's a telecommunication system without it being radios. He's talking about radios. The argument here, and Morris said this on more than one occasion throughout the years previously, it is not about radios. We want the cities to pick whatever radios that they desire. This is about developing infrastructure, broadband telecommunications infrastructure in the county, i.e. towers. Cleveland Communications is not able to do that, which is probably why they didn't bid on the RFP that they end up, introducing later. But ARPA eligible funds is a premium pay essential workers investment in water, sewer, and broadband infrastructure. Now, it cannot be a non-recurring expenditure. Well, Cleveland Communications Inc. would be a recurring expenditure solely because of the user fees. The cities are going to have to be paying Cleveland Communications user fees for using the L3 Harris Cleveland Communications system. We wouldn't be building towers. We would be allowing their antennas up on other towers that they would lease, and we would be, using that when it really doesn't make sense when we could be using this money, these ARPA dollars, to, build the actual infrastructure, the towers themselves, to benefit Lorain County. I mean, what does this contract, and how does it? It's another question: is how does this contract benefit Lorain County? How are these radios a long-term asset to provide the county benefits over the years? Radios that are going to cost us recurring fees and expenditures, recurring expenditures is against ARPA. Another thing is what they're going to do with the money is how they were going to send it to different cities and agencies to. That's not allowed under ARPA. So that's my point when they keep saying ARPA, and I don't know the details with the prosecutor, but I do know that I can read that really states that it's not eligible. Radios ARPA eligible. It's ridiculous.
$10 carryover this year, and you guys are sometimes up there crying broke. I would continue to do my job as the chief law enforcement officer in Lorain County, which includes keeping an eye on commissioners who only care about the personal agendas for themselves and their friends. Thank you.
I like how they lined up there against them. So Sheriff Stammitti then the next month says we are going to officially start an investigation into the Lorain County 911 controversy. So, and that's where we're going to start here. It'll probably take us about 20 minutes. Give me 2 seconds. I'm going to pull this up. Which screen is it on? Right here. Already read this. And like I said, it says 210 pages. It's 30 pages. Don't get scared like, Katie, what are you doing? And it's really important that we start here because, like I said, hindsight's 20/20 sometimes. Sometimes you have to see the future before you understand why it's relevant to the past and how the past is relevant to the future. And between 2022 and 2023, this sheriff's investigation, the sheriff's investigating, the sheriff's this person's investigating, and when they say that, you really have to read the reports because, an investigation is as good as the investigator. And if the investigator is looking for a narrative to fill, they can use this investigation to fill that narrative. Or, if they have integrity, which I don't think this investigation between Lorain County Sheriff's Department does, you really, how is that dying? Hold on 1 second. I always do this. My stupid laptop. Hold on. Shit. Sorry, hold on. Ooh, my plug wasn't plugged. I was gonna leave. Okay. So let's see. Add to storage. Here we go. Lorain County Sheriff's investigation. You can see I marked this all up. Okay, where does he start? Let's see. Okay. So he starts December 21st of 2022. He talks about the L3 Harris system, clean communications, blah, blah, blah. So he claims that Commissioners Moore and Riddell have taken a stance and alleged that the RFP and bidding process has been rigged, steered towards awarding the contract to Clean Communications Inc., which supplies. Now look is it a wireless telecommunications system? No, it says they supply the L3 Harris P25 system. That's fine. That's a radio. They can supply radios. That's fine. That's not infrastructure. February 23rd, he said the Lorain County Fire Chiefs held in 2023. Lorain County Fire Chief held a meeting and voted on a motion to request the Lorain County Sheriff's Office to investigate the radio process. So he did the background. He goes over what we already went over in 2018. February 2019, he says P25. I question that because I read that report and it just said it has to have interoperable communications with Ohio Multi-Agency Radio Communication System, MARCS. So MARCS is a P25 Phase 1 system. They are interoperable with Phase 2 systems. They use the phase one. That's because the state can get as many FCC licenses as they want. And they already, not as they want, they already have a ton of them. So they don't really need to have a phase two system, phase two. And they knew that, which is a part of the reason the RFP was begged, as I said earlier. He goes over 2019, blah, blah, blah. But like I told you earlier, when that's an old board. So whatever they did, that's an old board. That's their decision. That doesn't mean we're going to continue when the new board comes in. You know what I mean? And we're going to continue to do that work. That's not a thing. Let's see where my notes are. He talks about how Moore and Michelle Hung ran together, kind of. They did some marketing materials together, and he helped her get elected. J.D. Collinson defeated his Republican opponent, Robert Gorgas, in November of 2020. And now he is the Lorain County prosecutor. Why is that important? You will see. So going to the 5-city radio program, okay? And we already did that. The 5 cities by themselves, without the county, wanted to look at a radio system, decided to go a joint effort together to apply for grants, lost the first FEMA one. Later, they were given $1 million grant. The 5 cities already had a vendor for the L3 Harris radio system they wanted to purchase, which is Cleveland Communications, Inc. So before the county even had a discussion about radios, communications, they had already been 2 years deep into planning their 5-city radio thing. It was 2020. You know what I mean? June 14th, Avon Lake passed there. And we already went through all that, 5 days, 5 days. My question with these is the communications between Michelle Hung and Alan Close, where Alan says, in order to make this 5 cities program work, that it is critical that we get placement at that Burns Road Tower. I think they were a little worried about that. I think it's funny that the 5 cities did not pass their contracts until Michelle mentioned, 2 weeks prior about, let's go after this RFP, no bid contract with Cleveland Communications for $6.4 million. 2 weeks later, the cities are, signing contracts, and in those contracts, which you'll see up on my website, is a clause in there if the county were to come and adopt a radio system that they would, work with the county. Well, if you're putting a stipulation like that in the contract, then you already know that the county is working on something. And before all of this, 2 months before, Alan Close, who owner of CCI, is in front of the General Assembly saying, hey, we have the contract, even though we hadn't even received a proposal yet. So the Alliance, Commissioner Moore and Commissioner Moore formed in 2020 after rumors, information. Okay, so the Alliance, Commissioner Hung and Commissioner Moore formed. I don't think it was an alliance. They were both Republicans. So that relationship ended after the extramarital affair involving Harry Williamson was announced. That's the narrative they want you to paint. I think that relationship became sore after the June 14th meeting, where June 6th. Why do I always say 14th? June 6th meeting where, who's June 6th or 14th? I'm confusing myself now. That June meeting where she wanted to go after an $6.4 million no-bid contract to award to CCI for the radios. That's when their relationship started to deteriorate, I believe. I believe he felt, walking out of that meeting saying this is probably a violation of the Open Meetings Act. I'm getting out of here, and I think this is all starting to seem shady to him. He took a couple steps back. So again, narrative that they want to portray. Then they put in this sheriff's report how Hung and Williamson were seen kissing each other in the dark. How Hung enters the ladies' bathroom as Williamson walks away. The Gateway Center houses the 911 backup center, record storage, and emergency management agency offices. So I'm thinking that was the building that the zero light penetration, soundproof $30,000 taxpayer ticket was done. Now, this is what he says in here about having the tape sent up the chain. I spoke with Tom Kelly, denied sending out the tape. So he's saying it wasn't Tom Kelly. Now, Jessica Fetter, who was appointed March 31st, 2021 by Lorain County Commissioners, I believe this is Van Sant, spoke with Jessica Fetter and asked if she knew anything about the tape, and the only insight that she was able to provide that was the cash for the surveillance system would only hold for 90 days. Now, I find this interesting. She was asked by Lundy to go back to the system and see if she could locate the video, and the system had already taped over the footage. Why did Commissioner Lundy ask her to go back into the footage? This tape didn't come out until August of 2021. So if Commissioner Lundy didn't know, or maybe he asked after the fact, I mean, that's not really clear. So it's like, why would you put that in there? Now, text messages between Tom Williams' court case between Hung and Williamson talked about owning David O'Brien, and the video was, which is Lorain County Telegram's editor, and giving him stuff to write about. Now, he, in his article, stated, didn't state who gave him the video, but he did state it wasn't Tom Williams. And, he never really stated who it was. And I'd be interested for David O'Brien from the Chronicle Telegram to, maybe if his source is willing, give up his source. Now, I bring that up because it says here, Tom Williams informed the Chronicle Telegram of the video after he alleged Hung shared the information. I have in writing David O'Brien an article that he posted when the video was released in August, stating that it was not Tom Williams that gave him the video, and Tom, when he spoke to him, wasn't aware of it. August 3rd, 2021, Harry Williamson was terminated. County administrator was terminated August 18th after the quote in the Lorain County Chronicle Telegram stating whoever has been part of this political game is going to pretty much get what I'm summarizing, but pretty much get what they deserve. Next day she goes in, fires Tom Williams, texting her boyfriend the whole time. Within a few minutes of his termination, David O'Brien from Lorain County Chronicle Telegram had already posted a couple paragraphs regarding his termination, which he got speedy fingers. So August 23rd, more, dressed in the state, whatever. So these are more bullet points. We talked about these last time. July 28th, executive session. They were, told about this affair. August 11th, the video of Hung and Williamson kissing at County 911 came out. It came out on August 5th. Michelle came out to the public on August 11th. Commissioner Hung, 911 Director Harry Williamson were meeting at Cleveland Communications to push a $6.7 million no-bid contract and to use ARPA dollars. Commissioner Hung started using her position to bully employees that spoke out against 911 Director Williamson, the latest being on July 14th, July 16th. Commissioner Hung stated that the 911 Director Williamson only had one job to do, oral sex on her. Commissioner Hung claims that 911 Director Williamson had a video. I will verbally discuss this video on a phone call or person. This is going to come up again, and I really didn't want to talk about this, but I just have to touch base on it because, again, I don't care what grown people do. When Michelle Hung got into a fight with Harry Williamson back in the June 24th of 2021, she was being all friendly with Tom Williams, and according to my sources, she told, now she claims in her deposition it was her and Harry that told him, but she told him that Harry, let's do this so you guys see the picture. Hold on. I hate not having a visual, because sometimes that's just dumb. Hold on. Okay, so Michelle Hung here told the county administrator, Tom Williams, right here, that Harry Williams, her paramour at the time, her lover, her, side piece, whatever the heck you call it, had a video of our Lorain County prosecutor's mother giving fully consented and gave Harry Williamson fellatio on the side of the highway and recorded it. And Michelle Hung knew of this recording. Now they claim, and it's the only claim, it's hearsay because there's no proof of it, that Administrator Williams then asked Michelle for the recording multiple times. I don't really believe it. Not really. There's not really anything evidentiary that proves that. Now, J.D. Thompson's mother knew Harry Williamson from working on J.D. Thompson's campaign. Harry volunteered 2020 for J.D.'s campaign, so they worked together, but had this tape of his mother that Michelle knew about. Michelle got upset at Harry. Michelle then told Tom about this tape that they had of the prosecutor. And the sheriff's report actually discusses this. It's just why I have to bring it up. Commissioner Hung claims that Director Williamson, a family member of J.D. Tomlinson's family, would meet up for sex in cheap motels. That's J.D. Tomlinson's mother. Commissioner Hung made it clear that she was pursuing Mr. Williamson before taking office. They met September 1st. They were in bed by September 8th. So you only need to meet the girl for a couple times and she'll give it up. Tom Williams is willing to sign an affidavit for all and more statements and supporting emails, which I bet he would. $102,000 in no-bid contracts for 911 to Keeling Communications happened on 4/20/21. This is Commissioner David Moore. Mission critical, a contractor hired to investigate which system is best for Lorain County informed me in a meeting with the 911 director and president of Cleveland Communications and others on June 14th. We did not need to go out for a $6.7 million contract for Cleveland Communications to provide a countywide 911 coverage. I had a lot of people contact me about this whole Williamson and Cleveland Communications relationship. I can share those comments via phone or in person. When I sternly said I would not allow a no-bid contract for $6.7 million, I left the meeting and my administrative assistant stayed in the meeting and informed me later that Alan Close, the president of Cleveland Communications, stated that Michelle Hung needed to form an alliance with her Democrat counterpart, Lundy, betraying her Republican counterpart, David Moore. And she did. And it was ugly for about 18 months. Commissioner Hung approved the hiring of her husband's boss, Patrick Noble's daughter. She also purchased, I don't really care about the Sherriff Williams thing. Commissioner Hung tried to get solid waste funds for a project in Avon that was being managed by Patrick Noble, Sherriff Williams executive, and her boss, Director of Solid Waste. I haven't found evidence of that, but that's what he claims. Commissioner Hung tried to hire her brother and push for him to get a second interview. After the interview, board decided that he didn't meet the minimum qualifications. She knew her brother wasn't qualified. She admitted this in her deposition on 5/22/2023 in her lawsuit with Tom Williams. She tried to create a position at Job and Family Services for her sister-in-law. I think her sister-in-law works for, I want to say, Children's Services at the moment. There are emails that somehow, the end of last week, she has appointed herself as the liaison and overseer of the 911 department with all, and will oversee all expenses. I don't know if this is true. She was appointed on the board of the 911, what was it? January of 2024. There's a lot going on that day, so I don't know if he knew that. At the request of Commissioner Michelle Hung, I conducted an investigation into the allegations, bullet points asserted by David Moore. This is proof that the sheriff and Hung are working together. The sheriff states the whole point of the investigation is to investigate Moore for speaking on her bad behavior. At the request of Commissioner Michelle Hung, I conducted an investigation into the allegations. Well, why didn't he conduct an investigation when Dave was talking about it for 18 months? I mean, That's what I don't understand. So let's go through these bullet points that Sheriff Stammitti and Captain Van Sant went through. Commissioner Hung was having an affair at 911. If this allegation were true, it would not be, for one, it is a violation of of her ethics. But he said includes prohibition of elected officials from hiring family members. According to Ohio Ethics Commission, a family member is designated as parents, grandparents, children of any age, grandchildren, spouse, or siblings, regardless of where these family sisters. Well, he just contradicted himself. Hung tried to hire her brother and promote her sister-in-law. Also, her husband's boss was trying to get a contract with her, and a spouse. So how about the person that you're sleeping with? You gave him a job starting at $71,000 a year after he endorsed you during your election. Helped you acquire get an endorsement from the AFL-CIO during your campaign. Then after that, you hire him. And you're the deciding vote. Lundy abstained. Dave Moore said, yeah, I didn't know any better. Didn't know about the affair. Michelle knew. And she was the deciding vote. If Michelle abstained on how she should have, Harry Williamson would have never been the 911 director. Ever. The commissioner Hung and 911 director Harry Williamson were meeting with Cleveland Communications. How to push 6.7 no bid. All contracts must follow a bidding process. Look up Petticord reference Dave mentioned pursuant to ORC. So this is the thing. Commissioner Moore himself said the agency hired like county different communication needs, mission critical. Yeah, whatever. That's not expensive contract. So once assistant prosecutor Dan Pryor provided his legal opinion that the project should go out for a bid, there was no evidence found that the Commissioner Hung or Director Williamson attempted to override disregard this opinion. There's video evidence where Dan Petticord states that he might, be in the wrong here because he doesn't understand maybe like the technical capabilities. I know that he ended up learning them, but when they approve an RFP, I don't think Dan Petticord knew that Marks wasn't a phase 2, a phase 1, was a phase 2 system. I don't think that he knew by them putting that language in there that you were going to exclude 2 contractors. I don't think he was very, aware. I think they look at the RFP as, is it set up appropriate? Is it, legally okay? I don't think he knows the technicalities of a radio system. I wouldn't expect him to. Okay. Pay rate incident. Oh, this is about like somebody messed up somebody's pay and Hung, let's see, what did she say? Hung advised that she and Williamson were traveling in his car late afternoon, July 16, with Harry Williamson, told Hung that he received a call from Tom Williams that morning. Tom Williams, July 16th, that's great. That's right after he went to the Lorain County prosecutor and informed them of their affair. Tom Williams was forceful in his demand to Harry Williamson when he called to apologize to Megan. Harry Williamson told Hung that Tom Williams followed up with a text message asking if he called Megan. Megan, who advised that she informed then 911 director Harry Williamson of the mistake. Williamson informed her that it was her job to fix it. So apparently Harry Williamson was rude to Megan Tellier, had a conversation. She believed the apology was... she didn't think they needed to apologize. That's like the dumbest thing I ever heard. Anyways, Commissioner Hung stated that 911 director had only one job to do oral sex on her. Hung stated that attorney Amanda Martinsek of Ulmer and Byrne knew of their relationship with Harry Williamson since January 11th or 12th of 2021. Hung said Martinsek befriended her coaxing girl talk stories, sharing some of her own. Hung indicated attorney Amanda Martinsek was the only person she discussed this matter with. The conversation did not take place while working, or did any context other than a kiss take place while on the clock during county time. Well, she then admits in court deposition, I gotta bring it up. Hold on. I'm gonna bring this up. I gotta bring it up. Because she says, I didn't do anything but kiss him, right? I didn't do anything but kiss him while come on, open this. While we were on county time, right? Let's see this. I love keyword search. It's my favorite thing in the world. All right, what does this say? Why is it doing that? You had sex in county offices. Okay, so here's the question from the attorney. This is Tom Williams' deposition to Michelle Hung. You had sex in county offices, didn't you? I don't recall ever having these conversations or conversations of any sort about sex in county offices. Now listen, she's saying, I don't remember having conversations about it. Did you ever have sex in county offices? Question. Did you? Oh, hold on. Hold on. Objection to form, is that an answer? You can answer. Ooh. Sorry if you can see my boobs. Oh, I had a bug fly down. The witness. Oh, okay. Did you? Same objection. Did you ever have sex in the county offices? Yes or no? This is Michelle Hung. I don't ever recall having conversations or indications of anything, Mr. Williams, regarding that. That's not my question. Mr. Novak, would you read it back? Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? Michelle Hung. Mr. Williams' claim against me is that I retaliated against him because I informed him that I had sex in county offices. I don't recall ever having that conversation or informing such. Would you repeat my question back again? Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? No, I don't recall having those conversations. Mr. Novak, would you read it back again? The court reporter reads the preceding question again. Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? It's not a conversation that I recall. So how could I retaliate for something that I didn't have? Would you please read back the question again? Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? Do you have an answer? I have answered the questions. Would you read the question back? Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? All I can say on that is Mr. Williams' claim is that I retaliated against him for having a conversation with him and discussing sex in county offices. I did not have that conversation. Would you read back the question again? I swear God, I asked her 10 times. Did you have sex? Did you have sex? Did you have sex? Okay, so ready? Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? Michelle Hung. Yes. 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 So you did have sex in county offices. Asked and answered. I was going to ask it again because I wasn't quite sure of your response. Are you saying yes to that you are going to answer the questions, or yes that you had sex in county offices? Mr. Carroll, objection to the form. Why don't you ask your original question again? Ask the original question again. Did you ever have sex in county offices? Yes or no? This guy, I can't believe you dealt with her. Your answer is yes to that question. Well, you have to be a little more specific on the question, quite frankly. But county offices is a plural question, sir. How about your office? Yes, you had sex. You got there. Good job. Michelle Hung said that. You had sex in your office, Michelle Hung. Yes, that's the answer you guys all came for because you didn't know. Question, that's your opinion. No, the conversation never happened and he knows it didn't happen. She's talking about conversation, but she admitted, yeah, she was in her office, and I don't know if he keeps going. I don't want to really keep going with this one. Conversation with board may start 6 p.m. 20. Oh, here we go. So the 23rd, she had... No, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this one yet. Anyways, so she was asked how many times? Once, twice, three, probably 10 times. Did you have sex in county offices? Now, this message that they were talking about, Martin Sec, Amanda, the attorney, for one, that's the attorney of the Lorain County prosecutors. That's privileged information, for one, whatever they discussed or whatever. Another thing is privilege is the fact that she shared that privileged text message with Harry Williamson for his complaint and his complaint suing the county. So that's kind of fucked. So this conversation I place while working, nor did any acts other than a kiss take place while a clock and during county time. That's what Michelle Hung said, right? That's what Hung indicated. That was a lie based on depositions. So bad investigation here. That's lie. Commissioner Hung claims that 911 Director Williamson had a video. I will verbally discuss what was on this video. Oral sex claim is untrue. Commissioner Hung indicated that Harry Williamson assisted with the campaign for the now prosecutor Tomlinson. Tomlinson, okay, and let's people that don't know, Williamson, former Director 911, Tomlinson, new Lorain County prosecutor, okay, became good friends. The Marie, the mother of Tomlinson and Williamson's friend, developed into a sexual relationship, which allegedly Marie's spouse was aware of and had no issues with that type of lifestyle. The encounters would take, which is fine. The encounters would take place at rest stops. Williamson informed Hung that he had an encounter videotaped on his phone. Williamson told Hung he had the encounter. Why would you, for one, tell her? Okay. So, one, why would you tell her? Two, that's blackmail. So, what if and I'm not saying this ever happened, this is my what ifs. What if the prosecutor, does something? What are you going to do? Release the videotape of his mother? And this gets better. Ready? In conversation with Tom Williams, Hung advised that she had informed Williams that before her was Marie, and she believed that Williams taped the conversation on or about June 21st or 22nd of 2021. Hung, now listen, June 21st, 22nd, 2021. The math ain't math it. Okay, September of 2020, she started sleeping with him, right? Hung advised she informed Williams that before her was Marie, okay? And believed that Williams taped the conversation that Tom Williams taped the conversation June 21st, 22nd. I think it was right after when she admitted it, after her and Harry got into a fight after that June 24th meeting. Hung advised that Williams always attempts to tape conversations using them as leverage. Well, that's accusatory. She's never yet once produced a recording of her, Stammitti, Tomlinson, and that sounds with him, Moore, anybody, and Tom Williams. And I'll be quite honest with you, if I'm going into a situation where I don't feel comfortable and I feel like my words are going to be weaponized against me, I might record you to protect my butt. And I would say that need to even be protected, but now this is the big thing here. Hung advised that she had informed Tomlinson on 2 occasions about the alleged videos for help. What? Hung advised that she was afraid of Tom Williams and how he had information about the incident. He didn't have the tape, so he can say all day, there's this tape out there, but without the proof, doesn't exist. Hung advised that she was afraid of Tom Williams. Hung advised that Tomlinson asked if she, his mother, was a willing party in the incident. That's an appropriate question. Was this engagement between 2 adults? Okay, none of my business. Mom or not, none of my business. You know what I mean? But this is me. This is my theory. This is my brain and how my brain works. Hung advised that she informed Tomlinson on two occasions. Harry has his video of your mom. Okay, cool. Was it consenting? Yeah. Hey, Harry has a tape of your mom. Why would you have to tell him not once but twice? Hung admits to knowing of the blackmail video against the county prosecutor. Could be leverage, and no offense, it could be a leverage or a threat. She could be trying to intimidate him to, I don't know, maybe not look so closely at an RP. Maybe, not get involved, not pressure, an investigation into her nonsense. I'm not saying this happened. I'm saying, why would you tell somebody twice of a sex video of your mother? And I don't think JD complied to any of her bullshit, because in the paper the last year has been nothing but attacks on JD Tomlinson, and the people that are behind it are behind that camp. That's just coincidence. I don't think so. Prosecutor twice, so to not investigate their behavior? Is that why? And no offense, she said Tom Williams was a start. Tom Williams doesn't have the video again. Doesn't. Now. Mr. Hung claims that Director Williamson and a family member of J.D. Tomlinson's family would meet up for sex in hotels. Even if this allegation is true, it's not a crime unless Commissioner Moore is insinuating that due to an alleged sexual relationship, the county prosecutor is compromised and or being blackmailed to not perform his duties. I don't think he's being blackmailed. I think they tried to blackmail him. I don't think he complied because he's been getting hell in the paper ever since. He didn't go with their narrative. He didn't push, a special prosecutor for Stammitti. He didn't push, the bullshit. And we're going to read his letters tomorrow of what J.D. Tomlinson's actually said. But he didn't push the bullshit, and what happened? Now the attacks. I'm surprised it didn't get released. Thank God it didn't. But I think if the video did get released, then it would verify that they were using it, against him, trying to, compromise his integrity. Do I think his integrity was compromised? No, I really don't. I really think he said two adults can do what they do, and, that it is what it is. And the fact that they are trying to intimidate me with this is just going to make me, double down on the fact that, I'm going to stick by the law and what the law says. So then the 102,000 no-bid contracts on 428. I located the board meeting minutes. Present were Commissioners Hung, Lundy, resolution, equipment, software for build out for positions 13, 14, 15 on Burns Road. The vendor was Cleveland Communications Inc. in the amount of $102,118. A motion was made to adopt the resolution, which was made by Commissioner Hung, second by Commissioner Moore. Commissioner Moore admitted that he did not know at the time of this relationship between CCI, Williamson, and Hung shortly after he figured it out. But, they came in $1,000 less than the competitor after, and it was also after the competitor already had submitted his bid in an improper way. And that's why they think it was compromised. No, it was $1,000. So they didn't really go after it. Now, this is what the investigator says. I spoke with Russ Scarborough, who was one of the supervisors assigned to 911 at the time. Scarborough indicated that the bid was to build out the 4 consoles. Since there remained 2 consoles, their vacant had been taken over dispatch. Scarborough did indicate that the job was sent out for bid. An additional bid was received from Vasu Communications. And again, Vasu, we discussed that. Dennis Miller thought that some information was given to his competitor based on conversations and questions being asked of Vasu. He wasn't going to, move forward, but he did wanted to address with the Commissioner Moore of his concerns that, I submit a bid 2 days later because it's just sketchy. And that happens again, right under the $50,000 RFP mark, a couple contractors come in later. Mission critical, informing a meeting with the 911 director, the president of Cleveland Communications, and others about the no bid contract. Hung advised David Moore did not know what the meeting he was in. She keeps bringing about this locution project. I told you guys, it's not a locution project. There's no such thing. It's locution systems. It's a project for a button to be installed at the firehouse stations. She doesn't know what she's talking about. There's witnesses to this June meeting where they wanted this $6.7 million contract. It says Steve Haberman was in it, Alan Close, Jason Wester, sales team member, CCI. A larger radio project may have been mentioned by Close. Okay, so now the larger radio project may have been mentioned by Close at the end after Moore stormed out. Yeah, they don't think Moore knows what was said, but his administrative assistant was in there. However, the meeting was to choose the radio driver. Yes, for the location project. No. I don't really understand that. Locution Systems project was for a fire station button. I don't really understand what radio driving they're talking about. That doesn't exist. If they're talking about the $6.7 million no bid contract for radios, that would make more sense. The previous board left that decision up to the future board. Like I said, Moore's claim is wholly inaccurate. He did not know what Project MCP. They don't know. They weren't there. Nothing was located, and the only person they're going off of, because Moore never responded to this this investigation, nor did Commissioner Riddell. Nothing was located that would indicate that Director Williamson benefited from the contract. Yeah, That's questionable. Now, if you weren't benefiting from this contract, why were you pushing it? Why was CCI the better person? And literally, that's been my question this whole time: is what isn't it for you? And just because nothing's located that would indicate it doesn't mean it didn't happen. That's another fallacy in the sheriff's investigation. Commissioner Hung approved the hiring of her husband's boss. They deny that. No, however, Commissioner Hung tried to get solid waste funds for a project in Avon. Commissioner Hung advised that she was approached by reps from Sherwin-Williams about a project in Avon. She indicated that once she was asked about the project, she informed the reps to contact Tom Williams. She was told to contact solid waste by the director. When she approached the director, they said, yeah, you contract to the administrator, and that's pretty much done. Commissioner, I tried to hire brothers. Commissioner Hung's brother was never hired for any position, therefore no violation of law exists. She tried to get him hired, even though she knew he wasn't qualified for the position. She even slips up in a meeting and states that the HR lady didn't realize that was her brother when she was interviewing him. I think she pressured him. Pressured, HR to interview him. I think she pressured the administrator to get him an interview. It just doesn't make sense. Why would you, just because he wasn't hired, it doesn't count? No, because she didn't realize who he was. And she even says that the HR lady at the time didn't realize who he was. So if she did, does that mean she would hire her? Commissioner Hung tried to push the administrator to create a position of job and family services for her sister-in-law, yet she was never promoted as she tried to create the position. Commissioner Hung advised that the county of Lorain was employed in her sister-in-law, Holly DeBias, for years before her taking office as commissioner. She's employed by Lorain County Children's Services and has never attempted to be moved to that department or asked Hung to assist her. Yet it is documented by others and sources that have told me privately that she wasn't promoted, but she did try to create a position for her. There are emails that somehow ended last week that she was appointing herself as liaison. Like I said, January 4th, I just don't think there's so much. January 4th is an organizational meeting. It's like you're picking everybody, you're hiring everybody. It's a really busy day, I just don't think you remembered that she was appointed, which is another fucked up thing, though. You hire Harry Williamson, your lover, right? And then you're both appointed to the board of 911, the 911 board, where you're both sitting on the board. How is that not a conflict of interest? That's a huge question. I've spoken to Greg Komnitsky, investigator assigned with the Ohio Auditor of State. They have suspended the investigation due to the pending lawsuit. They never said that they suspended the investigation. I have the transcripts. We're going to read them tomorrow. He basically said, we're not going to impede on your investigation. They haven't moved forward with anything yet. But I'm going to tell you this right now. If something were to be investigated, if something were being done, none of us will know. And this kind of stuff takes so long. Kaminsky didn't indicate they've determined that thus far the complaint sent to them by Commissioner Moore have no criminal aspect. No, he said that they're not going to discuss it. Well, like I said, we're going to read that tomorrow. That's not 100% true. Commissioner Hung by Commissioner Moore have been ongoing. These allegations made by Commissioner Hung these allegations made against Commissioner Hung by Commissioner Moore have been ongoing for almost 2 years with no resolution in sight. Nobody's ever looked into the allegations. All right. Now, this is the best part. 2020, this is the sheriff's report. 2021 and 2022, no activity. For a point of clarification, between 2021 and 2022, there's no activity related to the radio system. This was largely in part due to the board attempting to find funding for the program. Bullshit. Bullshit. And I'm sorry for my language, but bullshit. Are you ready for this? Are you ready? Hold on, I'm going to show you. Bullshit. What is this? All right. There was no activity, according to the sheriff, between 2021 and 2022. Bullshit. What happened? Okay, so here. Let's start. There's nothing between 2021. So let's start 2021. This is everything that has gone on with the radio system between 2021 and 2022. So that's a whole lot of nothing, right? Hold on. We're going to go through this whole thing. I'm going to turn off my camera, get you on full screen. Right here. Off of it. I hate this thing sometimes. All right, here we go. Full screen. So between 2021 and 2022, nothing happened. Here we go. 2021. This is everything that's happened. So this is a lot that's happened between 2021 and 2022 for nothing happening with the radios between 2021 and 2022. It seems like everything about the radios happened between 2021 and 2022. We're keep going. 2020. Oh, here we're in 2022 now, January. Oh, keeps going. For all of this didn't happen in 2021. In 2022. That's according to Sheriff Stammitti's report. Nothing happened between 2021 and 2022. And that's August that we stopped it because I pulled up the wrong one. But it goes all the way through December when they accept the bid. But nothing regarding radios happened in 2021 and 2022. Yeah, no, not a thing. Not a thing. Let's see what George has. He still slept with a subordinate. That's not okay for any of them. They were all sleeping with each other. So much sex. How does the work get done? I'm thinking it's a big swingers club. George. That's I think yeah, I think that's your name. I'm thinking it's a big swingers club. It's really, really, really starting to feel that way. And if it is, good for them. Like I said, I don't care. Let your freak flag fly. What I care about is the contract. What I care about is you hiring your lover. What I care about is you lying. What I care about is you now spending millions, close to $1 million in litigation alone, and you're continuing to do it, and unnecessary lawsuits. And when you hear lawsuit in the paper, like I said, think taxpayer dollars. It's wasteful, and she's done nothing besides fight for the radio contract. So for having no activity between 2021, bullshit. We have everything that happened between the years of 2021. He says no activity, but then they hired JR in October of 2021. So then they're saying this is the narrative they're sharing. Well, then after October, we got a new person, and yeah. So they go through that MCP agreement. May 4th, unanimously voted in favor of consulting services. So what more bitched about in March, kind of doing that whole wait and see thing. They ended up passing it in May for $56,750. And we had already paid Mission Critical Partners for the same kind of land mobile radio system study in 2017. Let's see for how much. I don't want to misquote myself. Let's see, Mission Critical Partners, $77,000. Mission Critical Partners for a land mobile assessment. So if they did one a few years ago, why are we now paying them again? That's a duplication of services, waste of taxpayer dollars, and it was literally to secure a contract for a private vendor. Requested a proposal, resolution number. That was bullshit. Elected commissioner. So then Jeff comes in. They rescind the resolution. Order state investigation. We repeat. If I have any other notes. Okay. So on Monday, I have an open, but no active investigation. So Monday, March 20th, I issued a public records request. So then Van Zandt issues on March 20th, 2023, a public records request asking for all the emails required of Commissioner Moore, Commissioner Riddell, John Gall, County Administrator Tom Williams, County Administrator Armbruster. Now, this is another thing. They keep bringing up Armbruster. Armbruster didn't even start working with the county until 2023. He had nothing to do with, like, if he did, that was a private conversation as a private citizen. He had nothing in the county, or he didn't even knew it was going to be administrator in regards to this. I knew it was Vassy that did it. Okay, the L3 Harris 3 project. Amy responded to the request, March 20th, and we're going to read all these. Okay, so they go back and forth. Sheriff City, received a letter. We're going to do this tomorrow, the rest of this. Okay. So interview. So Captain Bosley and I met with Commissioner Hung in our office. The meeting was generally about information sent to the auditor of state by the Commissioner David Moore. Admission, they were working with Hung. Hung indicated Williams sent the assessment attachment to Chris Pass, Senior Account Manager at Motorola. Public records requests in the past from entities to review the assessment, and Lorain County refused to release the report at that time. Hung points out that Motorola had MCP study 13 months for the request. I don't know if this has to do with anything. July officials, Motorola in the call. Okay, so we're going to talk about this tomorrow. All right, we're going to stop there for tonight because we're getting into details I want to be able to read. So far, that's the report. Each of those points are questionable. Like I said, if we don't look at this report, when they say it, you can't be at ease to go, the sheriff investigated this, we're all good. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. The sheriff is missing a lot. We're going to stop there with this, though, and we're going to finish the next 17 pages after tomorrow's episode, and we can actually go in and discuss 2022 in depth. And that's what we're going to do. I know it's a little bit late tonight. I know I'm a little bit longer. These episodes, I'm trying to get them done. Tomorrow, we are going to go into 2022. We're going to go into the passage of the contract. Then we're going to start into 2023 and watch it be rescinded. And we're going to, real quick shoot through 2023, and then we're going to get to currently what is going on. Today, the big introduction was to J.D. Tomlinson. There's going to be a lot more about him because for recent, he's been, getting the third degree in the paper because he didn't, bow down to these people. He didn't allow them to use information regarding his family and their relationships to compromise his integrity. I think he followed the letter of the law, and I think he clearly saw the political nonsense that was going on, and I still don't get why. And that's why I think it's needed to have an investigation by the auditor of state or the attorney general, because there's information that I cannot obtain as a citizen, like records requests and for communications that I know are 100%, but there's something here just stinks. It just stinks. And we're going to get to the bottom of it. So I'm going to stop there at the sheriff's report. We're going to continue it tomorrow after I quickly review 2022, even though, according to Sheriff Stammitti, nothing happened in 2021 and 22 regarding the radios, even though everything did. Or Van Zandt, I'm sorry. I think Van Zandt's the one that did that report. It's going to take a PCI lawsuit later this week and see the fallacy and the arguments there. This week, we are wrapping up this investigation and I'm opening up my site. If you would like access to Lorain County page, you need to go to www.meanstreetoh.com. I'm going to put this link in the comments. Now there's a folder, it's called Lorain County. In order to access that folder, you have to subscribe. I made it that way so I can get the subscribers up, and eventually when we get a little more into Mean Street News, there will be articles that are available. There'll be pages that are available for free, but then we will also go to a subscription based content, especially when we get into the HB6 investigation, just based on the sensitivity of that whole thing. And yeah, so go on to www.meanstreetoh.com, and I'm going to show this. It's right there on the bottom of the screen, and all my handles, like, follow, share. Any questions, reach out to me, Katie at meanstreetoh.com. Pretty soon it'll be meanstreetnews.com, but if I ever figure out how to transfer shit. But I will see you guys tomorrow to continue our Lorain County investigation. I hope you enjoyed tonight, starting to look at, who gave what away when. We introduced Sheriff Stammitti. We introduced J.D. Tomlinson to the story. Like I said, you're gonna see the map soon. Start to connect dots and where, and then I think you yourself are gonna start asking the question of why, and for what reason did you weaponize and politicize, Lorain County safety forces, waste tax dollars, and for what? And they continue to do it. So we'll see what happens. And you guys have a great rest of your night, and I will see you all tomorrow. There we go. I will see you all tomorrow to discuss our investigation further. And like I said, if you want access to the Lorain County page, please go and subscribe. I will probably let you in when I check the subscriptions tomorrow, and then you guys can check out all the cool stuff I put on there, timeline and videos and documents, and you guys can go crazy. So thank you so much for tuning in late with me tonight. Again, sorry I was a little bit late tonight. My children were awake, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. Thank you for joining me today on Mean Street. I hope you enjoyed the show. I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting our work and supporting my effort. You can support directly underneath at the Spotify donations, or you can directly give a donation at paypal.me/meanstreetohio. Any donation received will help me continue to provide news to you and everyone else across Ohio and beyond. I love what I do, and I just hope to continue to do it. Thank you so much, and you have a wonderful day.